having anything to do with the Honorable John R. Padova, Judge of the United States District Court in and for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and here at present, these shall be heard. God save the United States of America and the Honorable Court.
Thank you.
Court is now in session.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. First, let me tell you, it's an absolute pleasure for me to be here, and I know it's an absolute pleasure for you to be here as well. This is really as special as days become. This is a very, very special day. And we've got a program, which is an exciting program. We have speakers which are excellent speakers in all respects. My name is John Padova, and I'm a senior judge here in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. And again, it is really a very special privilege for me to preside over your ceremony, a ceremony which will result in the making of the country's newest citizens. Judges have many, many responsibilities, but one of the most gratifying is this opportunity, the opportunity to preside over naturalization ceremonies. Today, we will be naturalizing approximately 48 applicants from 34 different countries. It's great, really great. You'll be hearing from speakers very, very shortly, but I do want to make a few preliminary remarks. Many of you have waited a long time for this moment. Some of you have undergone great effort, perhaps great risk, and in some cases, many cases, great danger to reach this point. And we're aware of that in all respects. But this is, I trust, actually the realization of your goal, the dream of your life. And I commend you on reaching this stage. I, like many and maybe even most Americans, became a citizen by birth in some delivery room somewhere in the city of Philadelphia. I took my first breath and I was there and then a citizen of the United States of America. So that we who became citizens by birth really didn't make a conscious choice. And sometimes things that are simply bestowed upon us can be taken for granted. But you, each and every one of you, are becoming citizens by conscious choice, which in some ways means that you know more than I the full meaning of being a citizen of the United States of America. So many things have converged to make this day so very special for all of us. Please first join me in thanking the president of the National Constitution Center, Jeffrey Rosen. He has hosted us here today, and we're very thankful in that regard. So it is with thanks to President Rosen that we find ourselves in this beautiful historic area, a stone's throw away from Independence Hall, and really a living monument to our nation's foundational past, and of course, located in the most historic setting in our country. Today is also a very, very special day. On September 17 in 1787, now nearly 235 years ago, and just 2 blocks from where we now sit, the United States Constitution, the law of the land, was signed by 39 brave delegates who changed the course of history. Today, that document, which contains 7 articles and 27 amendments, serves as the beacon for life in America. That momentous event in which a new form of government was born truly constituted a great experiment in all respects. The prevailing question then was, could the 13 states, filled with inhabitants from different lands and with different cultures, blend their views and respect their cultural differences? Well, we know that did happen with respect to the making of the Constitution, because the Constitution was born at their hands. Over the past 235 odd years, people like you have come and will continue to come here from many different lands with many different cultures. And therefore, one might very well say that the experiment that was involved with our framers continues. Every day, we are called upon to blend our views, to respect our cultural differences, as well as our political differences. That's inherent and important to life here in America. For generations, people have traveled to the country to make it their home. They came as you have come, both to share in this country's ideas and to contribute to them, to harvest its opportunities, but also to increase opportunities for new citizens that will follow your appearance as part of our country. This morning, you will become a part of this group as our newest citizens. And I really must say that we're really happy to have you as part of our culture and part of our country. We know that this country has been built on the dreams and the accomplishments of an immigrant population. This country is the pinnacle of an immigrant population. Very shortly, you will renounce allegiance to any foreign sovereignty, and you will dedicate your cultural allegiance to the United States of America. And what will add immeasurably to this special day will be the remarks from our distinguished guest speaker who's with us on the podium, Dr. Jem Spector, and he will be introduced shortly by President Rosen. In addition, Mark Zucker, Chancellor-elect of the Philadelphia Bar Association, will deliver remarks on behalf of the Philadelphia Bar Association, the oldest bar association in our country. And finally, we will cherish the words that will be shared with all of us by one of our newest citizens, one of your own, Bishop Anba Karas, formerly of the United Kingdom. Well, the time is here, and we're now going to proceed to the heart and soul of the event, and that is to your naturalization. And ladies and gentlemen, I will now recognize Norman McCall, an officer from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. And Officer McCall will make appropriate motions in connection with your naturalization and maybe with respect to change of names. The clerk of the United States District Court of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, George Waddesall, is here, and he will administer the oath of allegiance to you. With that, I now recognize Officer Norman McCall.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the court's permission, may I address the assembly?
You may.
Thank you. Candidates for citizenship this morning, as I announce your country, please stand and remain standing for the oath of allegiance. Bangladesh, Belarus, Benin, Bulgaria, when you hear your country, please stand. Burma, Burundi, Cameroon, Chile, Colombia, Congo, Dominican Republic, Ethiopia, Georgia, Haiti, India, Iraq, South Korea, Kyrgyzstan, Liberia, Lithuania, Malaysia, Mexico, Pakistan, Poland, Portugal, Russia, Sudan, Tajikistan, Togo, Trinidad and Tobago, Tunisia, Ukraine, United Kingdom, and Vietnam. If I have not called your country, please accept my apology and stand at this time. Your Honor, on behalf of United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, I have the great pleasure to present to the court 48 applicants representing 34 countries for naturalization. These applicants have been found fully qualified for citizenship in all respects, and I have verified that they continue to be so qualified. Each has been found to be a person of good moral character, attached to the principles of the Constitution, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. Therefore, I respectfully ask that the oath.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your motion is granted, and the clerk of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania will now administer the oath.
With Your Honor's permission, may I address the assembly?
You may.
Will those petitioning the court please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. That I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law. That I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law. That I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law. And that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Thank you. Please be seated.
We now offer just a few words of introduction for our next speaker, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Constitution Center. President Jeffrey Rosen is a distinguished writer. He's a legal scholar whose career has been marked by a deep and sustained commitment to our Constitution and now our Constitution Center. Since 1997, President Rosen has served as a professor of law at the George Washington Law School, where his teaching and scholarship spans a wide range of constitutional issues. He has shared with the American public a continuing constitutional commentary, and his writing has appeared in publications as diverse and widely read as the New York Times Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, the Atlantic, and the New Yorker magazine. So let's now welcome President Rosen, who will deliver some welcoming remarks to you, and will also introduce our distinguished guest speaker, President Rosen.
Thank you so much, Judge, and welcome, fellow citizens. Welcome to the National Constitution Center and happy Constitution Day. Constitution Day is the most inspiring day of the year at the National Constitution Center, and this naturalization ceremony is the most inspiring moment of Constitution Day. I can't tell you how moving and uplifting it is to watch each of you stand and take your oaths as new citizens. 48 of you from 34 countries, each of the countries called out by name, and all of you uniting around your common allegiance to the principles of the Constitution. It was so significant to hear you renounce allegiance to foreign sovereignty so that you can now become part of the sovereign power in the United States, which is we the people. This is the big idea of the Constitution that distinguished us from all the old civilizations of Europe and the rest of the world. In those countries, kings and potentates and tyrants were sovereign. Here, we the people are sovereign. And that's why that oath is so significant. And that's why you're taking a similar oath to defend the Constitution that the president takes, because you are more important than the president. The president is your temporary representative as the sovereign power, but you, as part of we the people, have the ultimate sovereign authority. And that's why you can vote the president out. And that's why you can vote your representatives out. And that's why only you have the power to change the Constitution itself. Friends, this is a beautiful museum of the Constitution. And I hope as you leave, inspire yourself by looking at the amazing words of the First Amendment on the First Amendment tablet. 75 feet high, 50 tons of marble, the shining principles that unite us. It's also an education center that teaches people about the Constitution around the country. And I'm so excited to share with you that we're about to launch a new project to create a Constitution 101 course with Sal Khan and Khan Academy. I don't know if you've seen the Khan Academy videos for teaching math and science. They're a really great way for kids and adults to learn science. And for the first time, Khan and the National Constitution Center are going to create a series of videos about the Constitution and why it matters. And one thing that Sal Khan and I are going to do is interview immigrants, because we can't think of any group of people who can better articulate why the Constitution matters and why we should have allegiance to it than people who have chosen to come here and to join We the People. And I was thinking in preparation to talking to you today about what we're going to learn about why the Constitution matters from talking to immigrants. And I'm not going to ask you right now to tell me to raise your hands and tell me why it matters. But I'm going to share with you what I would say if someone asked me as the child of immigrants. So my grandmother came to the United States at the age of 1 from Ukraine. And in Ukraine in 1901, when she came, there were murderous pogroms to kill the Jews. And those pogroms were ordered by the Tsar of Russia. And the Tsar of Russia told the people in Ukraine to kill all the Jewish families. And she left with her parents with all their possessions on a cart as their relatives were being killed behind them, and came to America in search of freedom and opportunity. And I knew her well and loved her still, and talked to her often about what America meant to her, why she came here. And when we think about what distinguishes America from the Tsar who killed the Jews and from Putin now, who's invading the same town in Ukraine that my grandmother fled from, Dnipropetrovsk, what's the difference? It's not a written constitution, because Russia has a beautiful constitution and it declares rights like free speech, but those rights are a lie, and the Constitution is not worth the paper that it's printed on in Russia. The difference between the US Constitution and the Russia Constitution is separation of powers. In Russia, the president has all the power, or the Tsar had all the power. In America, the president's power is checked by that of Congress and checked by the Supreme Court, but the ultimate power is you, new citizens, and me, we the people. And that's why the president can't order Jews to be killed or anyone to be killed, and he can't change the law. He's constrained by the separation of powers. So that's the first thing that I love about the Constitution. It's the separation of powers. I'm going to give you 2 more things that I love about the Constitution as the child of immigrants. The second is freedom of conscience and free speech. That incredible First Amendment tablet, which was just installed last spring because it came from Washington, D.C., articulates an idea that the founders had, that freedom of conscience is a natural right that comes from God or nature and not from government. That means that the freedom to speak as we will and think as we speak, as Thomas Jefferson said, can't be commanded by anyone else. No one can tell you what to think. No czar and no Putin and no president can tell you what to believe in and what to worship or what not to worship. You have complete freedom of conscience to follow the dictates of your mind wherever it may lead. That radical Enlightenment idea is what allowed my grandmother to come here in search of religious freedom so she could be free to practice her beliefs, and what has drawn many of you here too. When the judge said that many of you have engaged in great danger to come here, I saw several of you nod. So I can only imagine the stories that led you to this country. But one of the things that brought you here, I'm sure, was freedom of conscience and the ability not only to think as you will, but but also to speak as you think. And we protect free speech more vigorously than any other country in the world. And there's just one third thing that I would say if someone asked me why I'd love the Constitution as a child of immigrants, and that would be equal opportunity and equality before the law. You now have the exact same status as I or the judge or any natural born citizen. And that's because the first sentence of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which was ratified after the Civil War, says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So your legal status is exactly the same as a natural born citizen, and there can be no discrimination against you because of your place of natural origin or race or ethnicity or creed. And that shining ideal embodied in the Declaration of Independence, that we're all created equal and we have an equal right to pursue our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is so important. So that's what I've got. Those three reasons, I think I would say, and you can tell I'm very passionate about it. And that's why it's such an honor to be in this room with you as new citizens, as you begin to pursue happiness here in America too. I'm so eager to introduce our next speaker now, because he embodies one thing that I'm going to urge you to do, and that's to keep learning about the Constitution. The people who framed it thought that allegiance to the Constitution is both a right and a duty. You have an obligation to keep learning about the Constitution so you can preserve its ideals. And if you don't, and if I don't, and if our fellow citizens don't, the whole thing will collapse. The whole radical experiment of the Constitution is we can create a government based on reason and deliberation rather than force and violence. That's what Alexander Hamilton, the great rap star of the moment, said in the Federalist Papers, that the whole system is based on reason and deliberation. So unless you keep learning about the Constitution and the ideals that I just talked about, the ones you studied for your citizenship test, we could go the way of Europe and demagogues and mob violence and force and violence, not reason and deliberation. So this is not a joke. Your learning doesn't stop with your citizenship studies. It's just a beginning. And there's so many opportunities for learning. We have this marvelous array of podcasts and programs and historical seminars, and there's so much exciting learning to do about the Constitution. But one of the most innovative programs that we're working with now, we're doing in partnership with our next speaker. And he is a visionary educator who had the great idea of inviting his wonderful college students to come and take courses about citizenship and civic engagement, to participate in the National Constitution Center's webinars and listen to the podcasts and get a certificate of civic engagement, kind of like, think of it as an advanced education course for the citizenship exam that you just took. And I'm so excited to work with him, and I can't wait to see all the light and learning that we produce together. And that's why it's such an honor to introduce him now. And his name is Dr. Jem Spector, and he's the president of the University of Pittstown, Johnston. And he is a naturalized US citizen originally from Cameroon. He became president of the University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown in 2007. He has a PhD and MA degrees from Claremont Graduate University, University of Maryland, George Washington University, Frostburg State University, and the University of La Verne, California. And as I said, he and our great head of education, Curry Sotner, came up with this marvelous program that they're calling the American Democracy Scholar Certification, that will allow students at Pittsburgh and students at the National Constitution Center to learn together about our constitutional ideals. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jem Spector.
Your Honor, the Honorable Judge, thank you. And thank you, President Rosen, for those gracious remarks and kind introduction. Distinguished guests, and I mean the new citizens, the new Americans, distinguished guests, congratulations on this great milestone, a memorable day. This ceremony is even more special, taking place here at the Constitution Center in Philadelphia, the birthplace of American democracy and this republic. It is incredibly exciting to welcome so many new citizens from 34 countries from around the world, diverse races, cultures, viewpoints, belief systems, diverse peoples joining this American melting pot. With your varied experiences, knowledge, and talents, you will enrich the color, the texture, and the fabric of our national tapestry, contributing to this great mosaic that we call America the Beautiful. The inscription on our coinage reads, E pluribus unum. Every coin you carry says that. Out of the many, one people, we, the people of the United States of America. My heart is overflowing with joy for you, and I'm so honored to share this special day with you and our distinguished guests here. As George said, the path to get here has not been easy, I know, and you should be proud of this great accomplishment. Among the millions and multitudes of people from around the planet who dream of American citizenship, you are the lucky few who've met all the requirements and won membership to this exceptional club. Today, I see the sparkle of excitement in your eyes. I vicariously experienced this joyous moment with you because I was sitting where you are one time. I am reminded of my own American journey to find, to discover, to explore America, to love America, to find my own place, to create a space to live my American dream. The words of the poet Emma Lazarus, inscribed on the colossal statue in New York, the Statue of Liberty, resonates today as loud as the Liberty Bell. And that light, the lamp beside the golden door, I'm quoting Emma Lazarus, the lamp beside the golden door continues to make America the aspirational, shining city on the hill, the constant North Star for the human race that beckons with the promise of liberty and justice for all yearning to breathe free. Today, you embark on your own American journey. In this land of great promise and possibilities, there are no limits to your potential, no barriers to your imagination, no limits to your dream as you set sail from sea to shining sea to enjoy the blessings of liberty. You can set your sights high to fulfill your highest potential. You can dream of scaling the most incredible peaks. You can go from sea level today to the Rocky Mountains and the Olympic Mountains. This land is now your land. I want to hear you say, this land is our land. This land is our land, yes. Yes, it was made for you, for me, for all of us who believe in the Constitution, this republic, and the American way. Today, you have become a proud trustee of some of the most wonderful public spaces, and monuments known to humankind. You are a custodian of parks like Yellowstone and Yosemite, the Glacier National Park, the Zion National Park. It's yours now. You are a custodian of the fantastic arch, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, the breathtaking Golden Gate Bridge, the Space Needle in Seattle, the awe-inspiring Hoover Dam, the gigantic sculptures on Mount Rushmore, the Washington Monument, the US Capitol, the Supreme Court building, the White House, which incidentally is called the People's House. I love that. Because someday, right? Someday, one of you, your children, or grandchildren will be calling that People's House home. That is America. This is America. Why not? Why not? This land is your land. Let no one tell you otherwise. I want to hear you say, this land is our land. Our land. It was made for you and me. However, what you inherit today is more than just a bundle of stuff. When I was a law professor, we called it a bundle of sticks, property, stuff. You're not inheriting just a bundle of stuff. You're now part of the most potent governance body in our democracy, as President Rosen said. We, the people of the United States, we, the people of the United States, because of the principle of popular sovereignty at the foundation of this Constitution, every citizen, and that's you and me, from low or high place, we constitute, we the people, the supreme source of power in this republic. Our founders, and that's your founders now too, you can say that. Our founders gave us the Constitution that laid the foundation of this nation, where you've just acquired full membership to all its limitless bounties. Yet, the bundle of great benefits and rewards and privileges attached to citizenship comes with many responsibilities, including the fundamental duty to keep this republic, the fundamental duty to keep this republic. The saying goes, in many traditions, to whom much has been given, much is expected. When the framers were done with their work, a few feet away from here, a woman asked Ben Franklin, Mr. Franklin, what form of government do we have? A republic or a monarchy? Mr. Franklin, without missing a beat, answered, a republic if you can keep it. A republic if you can keep it. Indeed, as citizens, we have that obligation to keep this republic. There is urgency. History tells us republics are fragile systems with a tendency to collapse unless citizens accept the full measure of responsibilities and do a little housekeeping from time to time. Now, I suspect you were not told when you signed up for citizenship or applied or took the oath today that there's going to be housekeeping. Yeah, there is housekeeping, constitutional housekeeping, the burden on which falls on every citizen. Now, speaking as a professor, I have a test question for you. Will you heed the founder's appeal? Will you listen to the founder's appeal and do your part to keep this republic? What's the answer? Now, with some conviction. Yes. Right? I want to hear it. Yes? We will keep this republic. Indeed, wonderful. We need more keepers of the republic like you, because there's some serious republic keeping that needs to be done from time to time. Housekeeping, of the Republic. Now, here's what you can do. Here's what we all can do. Here's what we are all obliged and required to do to keep this Republic. One, we must be informed, active, and engaged citizens. We must be informed. We must be active. We must be engaged, which means we must continue, as you've done so far, to enhance your understanding of the Constitution, the nature and functioning of our institutions, how the political process works or doesn't, to get involved and participate in the political process, to use your precious power to vote, to participate in efforts to make, amend, or repeal laws. If necessary, to step forward and run for public office yourself. Why not? This is America. Never be afraid to stand up for America. Ensure that your voice or your phone call is heard. When it comes to safeguarding American democracy, do not be afraid. Number two, I hope and expect you will continue to cultivate the habits of effective citizens. The habits of effective citizens, the dispositions that come with being an effective citizen. That to keep this republic, it requires certain essential skills and dispositions that all citizens, all of us should have. But we don't all have them in the same degree. I certainly don't, but we have to cultivate them. Civic virtues, being guided by reason over passion, prioritizing the common good over self-interest, having greater civic trust and respect for one another. This is not always going to be easy. However, even in contentious discussions, one can identify shared interests, mutual interests, shared ideals, mutual points of convergence, coming together, consensus, and common ground, standing together through reasoned and civic discourse, the type that President Rosen talked about here in the Constitution Center. Therefore, even when we strongly disagree, and we should, as citizens, disagree with people, it's all right. Nothing will happen. As President Rosen said, you could even disagree with the president. Anyone. As citizens, it's okay to disagree. And to disagree even strongly with people who have opposing views. Nonetheless, nevertheless, we must always show them respect, empathy, and even maintain civic friendship with people of opposing views. Civic friendship with people of opposing views. By doing so, you will be contributing to civic trust, civic understanding required to keep this republic. Number three, what else to do? To embrace a culture of service and value those who serve to protect and defend America. You could do your best to strengthen communities and civic organizations, as well as through service in our military. I want to give a special shout out to our veterans, and they're your veterans too now. If you're a veteran who served in the United States military, please stand and let us recognize you. Please, any veteran in our midst? Let us recognize. Thank you. On behalf of all your fellow colleagues who've served for all the, for centuries, 2 centuries now, 2.5 centuries. Throughout history, keeping the republic has involved unselfish service and sacrifice by brave men and women answering the call on battlefields like Gettysburg or at the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. We must always remember to be citizens worthy of their service, citizens worthy of their service. As President Lincoln stated in the Gettysburg Address, the living must honor the fallen by taking on the great task of ensuring that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. At a minimum, we should always be citizens committed to the Constitution of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands. We must maintain and cultivate civic faith and trust. I'm talking about faith in American institutions and ideals, including the principles of the Constitution. This will often be difficult. Ironically, the very design, the very system of government that we have was intentionally made complicated enough to always frustrate the outcomes that the people demand at the spur of the moment or at any given time. There are built-in tensions in the principles of the Constitution, creating a complex system that works through elected representatives to slow things down, to moderate and to cool down the passions of the people. There are days, because of this, there are days when you're going to feel discouraged. I know I do from time to time, dispirited, despairing even. At such times, and there'll be times like this, there'll be times like that. At such times, the cynics, the skeptics will say, you see, democracy is not working. It's foundering. The slide to autocracy is inevitable. The house will fall. This illusion, this dream, these ideals, they cannot stand. I beg to differ, and I differ strongly. The weight of evidence is on the side of people who, when we look at the American experiment over 246 years, the weight of evidence is on the side of faith, trust, and patience in American ideals and institutions. Now, let me be clear. Civic faith and trust does not mean turning a blind eye to grave violations or the egregious wrongs of the past. The founders were not perfect. None of us are. Yet, in their genius, they gave us a system that could be perfected if we chose to do the periodic housekeeping that Ben Franklin talked about. They laid an extraordinary foundation for a grand constitutional experiment, a framework that left open the door for all Americans, and I mean all Americans, to eventually acquire and enjoy the full panoply of rights and constitutional protections. But you will need patience. That's number 5. You will need patience. Lots of patience sometimes. Because as I just said, changes come slowly. Sometimes you got to wait for decades. And even if you don't get there, you're going to say, my son, my daughter will get there, or their children will. Patience is required. It is the nature of the system. For example, when the Constitution was signed here in this neighborhood, just a few steps from here, in 1787, and ratified the next year, black slaves. They were still slaves. They were not freed until 1865, June 19, 1865, after the proclamation. After a civil war. It took a civil war. And then it took decades more for the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. For the 15th Amendment, voting rights for Blacks. And it took all the way until 1954 for 2 major legal precedents that had kept people down, and there was a lot of discrimination, and virtually maintained a system of apartheid in America for some citizens. It took up till 1954 for a big Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court said no more, overruled those cases. So you think about it, 1787, 1954, then folks had to wait for 10 more years or so before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. And then the Voting Rights Act, 1965. Dr. King famously asked, how long must we wait? How long? Dr. King asked that question. How long must people wait? But history shows sometimes a little too long, with all the pain that goes with waiting. But I'm here to say today that, as I said before, the weight of evidence is on the side of those who have faith in American ideals and institution, that the Constitution will be perfected, the Republic will embrace all its children, and we all would be heading towards that shining of city on the hill. Lastly, number 6. We need to believe in each other. We need to trust each other. We need to believe in the promise and the possibilities of America. That's how this nation got here. In many ways, I would argue, the secret sauce, right? You all cook with a little secret sauce. The secret sauce of American success is that optimism, that can-do spirit, the can-do, we can do it. We got this. We got this. That optimism about the future has made it possible for Americans to defy the odds and achieve seemingly impossible, improbable accomplishments. That spirit led to us becoming a global superpower in the 20th century, emulated for our Constitution and our Republic, emulated across the world. American ingenuity, that spirit of can-do, the belief of we can do this, led to impossible feats like the Hoover Dam, the dawn of the jet age, transformational biomedical technologies, the internet. We, among all humans that ever lived, performed the first moonwalk. And I'm not talking about Michael Jackson, the first moonwalk, walking on the moon. We launched the twin Voyager spacecrafts into interstellar space, which means tens of thousands of years from now, if there's anyone out there, the first evidence they would have of human civilization was like, oh, those Americans, they made this stuff. We launched the 2 Voyager spacecraft. And more recently, the James Webb Telescope, one of the greatest, perhaps the greatest technological wonder of all time. It's 1 million miles out, peering deep into the universe, almost to the very beginning, to the dawn of time itself. This is America. Because of that optimism about the future, Americans have pushed the envelope and breached many barriers to access new frontiers, to show that even the hardest problems can be solved with our can-do spirit. I am highly confident, no doubt in my mind, that you and your children possess that faith in the future and promise of America. Why am I so confident? Well, you had 200 choices, you made this one. That tells me something, right? You believe in the spirit of this nation and what you can bring to it. And what you bring fresh ideas, new perspectives born of your unique experiences. You bring an entrepreneurial spirit with virtues, important virtues, such as courage, fortitude, independence. You possess a healthy dose of ambition and the brains and the brawn to carry through. Therefore, I trust that you will supply a much needed infusion of talent and energy I believe you will enrich this nation in so many ways, including as inventors, as teachers, scientists, community leaders, doctors, engineers, you name it. I believe that your children someday be getting a Nobel Prize, a Pulitzer, maybe a MacArthur Genius Awards, or one of you even. Why not? This is America. All these things and so much more are possible because this land, let me hear it, this land is our land. This land, say it again, this land is our land. This land is your land. That's right. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. You may worship a different deity. You may have a different skin color. You may even talk with a different accent. No problem. That's all right. That's what makes us. You are American, newly minted, right? Fresh mintage, freshly minted, but just as precious as the original, freshly minted. Yes, but just as precious as 246 years ago, fully endowed with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. This is your land. Let me hear it. This is our land. Say it again. This is our land. Conclude my last page. So, the professor in me has one final test for you. Are you ready for the work to keep this republic? Are you ready to do your part for your kids, for your children's sake, for the future generations, for posterity? Are you ready to go to work to keep this republic? Yes. Wonderful. Congratulations. We are grateful that you chose us and thrilled to welcome you as citizens of the United States of America. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Rosen, and thank you, Dr. Spector. Inspiring and wonderful. Thank you. Our next speaker, Mark Zucker, is a Philadelphia lawyer. That term, Philadelphia lawyer, has special meaning. It recognizes the status that Philadelphia lawyers play in our democracy. Mark is not only a Philadelphia lawyer, but he's also Chancellor-elect of the Philadelphia Bar Association, the oldest bar association or association of lawyers in the history of our country. Mark, we recognize you to deliver remarks on behalf of the Philadelphia Bar Association.
Thank you so much, Judge Padova, Officer McCall, Mr. Weilisall, Bishop Carras, Mr. Rosen, Dr. Spector, new citizens, family, and friends, good morning. I couldn't possibly match the passion of Dr. Spector, and I frankly won't even try. I can't match the scholarship of President Rosen, and I won't try. I can't match the stature and authority of Judge Padova, and I will not try. But if you will give me just a few minutes of your time, I want to speak from the heart. This room is electrified with pride and excitement, and we congratulate all of you for having reached this auspicious day. After years of struggles and challenges in the long and difficult path to citizenship. We are indeed a nation of immigrants and a melting pot of beautiful cultures and traditions. Today, you join over 20 million other American citizens who were born on different shores and later naturalized. I too am descended from immigrants from Latvia, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and Great Britain, among others. Like you, they all had one thing in common: hope for a better future.
Your personal journeys have been inspirational, and we are awestruck by your perseverance. Each one of you has dreams for your life here, and citizenship is one of the most significant steps toward achieving those dreams. When you studied for your naturalization exam, of course, you learned that the supreme law of this land is the United States Constitution, the document that we celebrate on this very special day in the building dedicated to exploring and understanding its brilliance. We are justifiably proud of that Constitution, especially here in Philadelphia, just a few blocks from where it was debated and signed. And our Constitution gives us a framework for a government that protects our personal and collective rights, limits excesses of power, strengthens our freedoms, and allows our society to flourish. From this day forward, you are an American citizen, part of the fabric of our nation, and as such, you will be able to carry on the legacy left to us by our nation's founders. From this day forward, you'll be able to carry a United States passport, travel freely in and out of this country, run for political office, serve in the military, serve on a jury, hold a government job, apply for federal grants and scholarships, apply for Social Security benefits and other government benefits, apply to reunite with family members, petition your senator and congressperson for help, and yes, pay the taxes that help keep our nation strong. After all, citizenship, as has been discussed, carries both rights and responsibilities. Most important of all, as Dr. Spector alluded, you now have the right and responsibility to vote, perhaps the most powerful weapon that you have to ensure that the values of our country remain intact. Don't ignore that power and use it wisely. Learn about each candidate that's running, what they stand for, what experience and skills they have, and what they intend to do if elected. While the presidential election is often given the most attention, it's the local elections that often matter most to your specific lives. The mayor, the school board that helps to guide your children's education, the state judges that decide our disputes, the city council members who will pass laws that affect you, the district attorney who prosecutes crimes. All of these local elections are so important. Register to vote online or by getting forms at your public library. I brought a bunch here as well, if you'd like one. And make sure you register by October 24th. In fact, try and register well in advance, especially if you want to use a mail-in ballot. But either way, make sure you vote by November 8th. Voting is indeed the best way to celebrate your new status. The democratic structure forged by the founders of our country, though far from perfect, gives us all the tools for effective citizenship. And we build upon their work when we speak out freely and exercise our rights. In that way, we make our nation the best it can be. The lawyers of the Philadelphia Bar Association stand with you to defend your rights and guide you through an often daunting bureaucracy. In fact, in the back of your program, you'll see a series of other organizations that will help to guide you through this difficult series of complications that our society presents. No doubt you have seen signs of polarization in this country and expressions of suspicion, bigotry, and fear, including a fear of immigrants. Rather than discouraging you, this should galvanize you to action. As new citizens, you are symbols of what makes our country unique, and you have the capacity to educate your fellow Americans about the value that you and others like you bring to our society. Your honesty, your integrity, your love of family, your rich culture, your strong work ethic, your memory of what it was like to live in a society that doesn't have our advantages, your ability to overcome hardships and challenges, and most especially your sincere appreciation of all that America has to offer, the reason, after all, that brings you here and has kept you here. That can help make us all better citizens. Everything you say, everything you do will help us to appreciate diversity and debunk the myths spread by others. With your voice and your vote, you have the capacity to ensure that ours is a nation of fairness, justice, and inclusion, where due process and equal protection are not just words on parchment, but a reality for everyone. As new citizens, this now becomes your challenge and your hope. Today, as you bind your destiny with ours, and as you become new patriots to further the ideals upon which our nation was founded, we welcome you to our national family. Please help make us proud of the country you will leave to your children, as together we write the next chapter in our nation's history. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Mark. It's traditional that our last speaker in this program is one of our newest citizens, just having been naturalized. And it is now my pleasure to recognize Bishop Anba Karas, formerly of the United Kingdom, who will deliver remarks to the court on behalf of the new citizen. Bishop.
I began with thanksgiving to God for this very special and joyful day as we became a citizen of this great nation. I also would like to thank the court for extending me the opportunity to address my fellow citizens. As our nation celebrates Constitution Day, we honor our founding fathers who sacrificed so much to put together remarkable documents that ensures that our nation remains free and its citizens enjoy liberty and prosperity. I am proud, and you proud and grateful to become a citizen of the most democratic country in the history of the world. America is the land of hope and promise. It is the country of opportunity and inspiration. Immigrants from all over the world take refuge in America, seeking the benefits of many freedoms and possibility she affords. I pray to God continues to bless and protect America and all its people. Congratulations to all in becoming a US citizen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bishop. And now some final comments. We've spoken of privileges for the most part of this program, along with the wonderful opportunities about which we have spoken and that you now have as citizens. I would like to end, and I think we would be remiss if we weren't reminded of the responsibilities that go along with the privileges of citizenship. Each and every one of you has taken an oath, the same oath that millions of others have taken before you. Nonetheless, we must constantly remind ourselves that a free nation, above all, requires its citizens to act lawfully and responsibly in all aspects of their daily experiences, to respect one another, to reject intolerances, to reject prejudice, and very importantly, to always keep in mind, the front of your mind, the differences between right and wrong, and to choose always to do the right thing. As a judge in the federal district here, day after day, citizens come before me in my courtroom who have taken what I'll refer to as shortcuts. And you know what I mean by that. Taking those kind of shortcuts often means that you are infringing on the privileges of other American citizens and the law that must be supreme to nourish and continue the beauties of our form of government. That course of action, ladies and gentlemen, should never be acceptable to you in any way, shape, or form. You must do the right thing. And you must know the difference between right and wrong, especially with respect to the privileges and their extent and their meaning that are now yours as new citizens. So I thank you for allowing us to be with you on this wonderful and memorable morning. We all wish you the best. Brothers and sisters, fellow citizens, it is our pleasure now to distribute to you your certificates of citizenship. And our immigration officer will do that. Bless you all, and court is adjourned. Mr. McCall will distribute the certificates to you. Thank you so much, and we're delighted to have you all with us as brothers and sisters. Thank you. We stand adjourned.
Yeah, we're good. So when you hear your name, please come forward, receive your certificate, okay? Bishop Amba Karas. Congratulations. Absolutely. Mhm. Harishi Parekh. Congratulations. Welcome. Anna Branco. Yeah, Anna Branco. It's her. Congratulations. Huh? Jagoda Pekowski. Congratulations. Olivia Sua. Congratulations. You're welcome. Mhm. Daniela Florentino. Congratulations. Henry Nazarchuk. Congratulations. You're welcome. Morgan Arima. Congratulations. Olga Yakaleva. Congratulations. You're welcome. Christian Ponce. Congratulations. Nozaden Zain. Amy Soto Martinez. Congratulations. Sultan Yusuf Ahun. Congratulations. You're welcome. Van Sam Desari. Congratulations. Ngan Tran. Congratulations. Osmani Kone. Catherine McCorrick. Congratulations. Peter Moon. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're welcome. Alini Bala. Smay Sun. Congratulations. Congratulations. Anna Franco Despali, Pasquale. Mahmoud Al Salihi. Congratulations. Gamal Ibrahim. Congratulations. Hannah Fan. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're welcome. Zainab Jasheba. Bridget Nayom Zima. Congratulations. Alberta Hampton. Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations. Vanessa Echa Beria. Nikita Patel. Congratulations. Mhm. Congratulations. Uh-huh. Big Wealthy. Big Wealthy. Afterwards. Hmm? Tim Katosi. Abidi Pagbaya. Congratulations. Mhm. Barath McDenzel. Congratulations. Mhm. Sarama Chaco. Congratulations. Uh-huh. Sarama Chaco. Oh.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Uh-huh. You're welcome. Anis Sharadi. Marie Jean Pierre. Congratulations. Shamshad Jacob. Congratulations. Congratulations. Saida Gali. Emily Locke. Congratulations. Uh-huh. Congratulations. Tasmi Chowdhury. Solomon Posan. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mhm. Grace Crenock. Anna Guardo Milkis. Congratulations. Mhm. Lynn Wynn. Lynn Wynn. Kaylee Kim. Congratulations. Hmm? Lona Lee. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations. Galena Benega. Nachta Jean. Congratulations. Zucker, it's been a pleasure.
Oh,
Hope to see you. in
That's
court
all.
again soon. Congratulations to you all. Have a fantastic weekend and be safe.
Thank you.